Good morning, everyone. A beautiful Friday here at Gulfstream Park Run Nicoletti, along with Brian Nato. Fast main track, firm turf course. A little later on, zero setting on the turf course. We'll talk about that. Nice day today. As I mentioned, of course, we have the Tapeta, and we have $1.5 million gross jackpot guarantee pool in the Rainbow Six, which starts in race 5 today.
Yep.
We've got a 10-race card on this Friday.
And this is the penultimate day. You always have to use that word, Ron, when you can. The penultimate day before we have the mandatory payout tomorrow. If it doesn't get hit, and there's the gross jackpot guarantee at 1.5, I mean, we're expecting $6 million tomorrow. I think it could blow by that, but it's going to be a fun day regardless.
Got a chance to take it down right today. And there you see it, the mandatory payout. They're expecting, like Brian said, over $6 million, and that'll be races 7 through 12 on Saturday with that first race post at 12 noon. Easy for me to say. The first race today, 6 furlongs on the fast main track. Maiden claiming 3-year-olds, 35 down to 30. Brian put an early pick 5 ticket together.
$45, as we had a couple scratches that we'll get to. Here's the spread in race 1. The single is in race 2, Cajun Mandate. I think is going to be very, very tough to beat. Then we spread out a little bit. Race 3, number 7, Baby Mo on top. For me, race 4. Number 4, Stepzones, a Kelsey Danner first-time starter. And then in race 5, the race really, really opens up with the scratch of 6 feet apart. So I go 6-2. Super Lunar, I always did have on top. I'll add in Sacred Sunday now that 6 feet apart is out.
That is race number 5, and that is where the Rainbow Six will start this afternoon, but we'll talk about that a little later. Getting back to this first race, as I mentioned, at the top 6 furlong maiden claiming 3-year-olds, 35 down to 30. We did have a jockey change this morning on the number 1. Make that rider Lionel Reyes. We'll start with your 5-horse in here, and that's co-pilot from the Bob Hess Jr. barn.
Yeah, we got a trainer staff for Bobby, too, and this is just a drop. There's a lot going on here with this horse, and here you see maiden claiming dirt sprints at Gulfstream in the past 5 years. 5 of 19, 26% with a gaudy 313 ROI. We come back from a little abbreviated layoff as a first-time gelding. We had Lasix as well. This is a big, big drop in class from 50 into 35, still lightly raced. Junior Alvarado lands here, only 1 start in the maiden claiming ranks, and they wasn't even in for a tag as the Florida bred. So this is the first time really running for a tag. I think this horse can wake up, Ronnie. With that being said, I had no strong opinion in this race.
Yeah, sitting up there right now at 8-1, very, very early in the wagering. Horse I did not use on my ticket. I did go with the current early favorite right now, and that's number 6, Sensei Lawrence, and I'll tell you why. This one changing barns, going to the Albany Mirage barn after the claim, and I think finds an ideal spot to step up the competition again after rallying to finish 3rd. Was the favorite that day against 16 maidens going 3/4 of a mile. The new connections removed the blinkers, and they got Miguel Vasquez in the saddle today. Adding that all up together, I think this horse is going to be a major player. You have a little further down on the ticket. We both had some interest in the number 7, and that's Macart for now in the Antonio Sano barn.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of this horse just because hasn't done any running in 3 starts. But here we go. First time Lasix, and who's riding? Antonio reaches out for IRAD. And they don't have a huge sample together, but they are 22%. That's 4 for 18. So to me, there's some intent here that maybe this horse is ready to fire today. I think he's going to take some late money. Obviously, with IRAD aboard, I think you do have to use him.
Yeah, sort of that inconsistent campaign against that New York state-bred special weight runners last summer. But you mentioned IRAD once again having a great meet here. Got a couple of nice winners yesterday. Then the 3, the Beast for me, was cutting back to 6 furlongs after returning from the layup. Went up and set the pace, finished 3rd against the same level of competition that was going 6.5 furlongs. Mauricio Fuentes got his son Mario Fuentes in the saddle today, so a little bit of a family affair.
And it's a send mission here. We added Lasix last time. This horse woke way up, and he'll be honored just off the early pace pressing.
Second race, it's still got a full field, but we did have a scratch of the number 1 on his toes. This one is about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Maiden claiming 3-year-olds, $12,500. Still a big field of 10 to kick off the first of 2 pick 4s on the afternoon. And you're absolutely right about Cajun Mandate, who had top all along, and that's this one dropping back to the 12.5 level.
Same here. Even if on his toes was in here, Cajun Mandate was going to be very, very tough to beat. Now take him out, and to me, he's probably 3, 4 to 5 in here. He was odds on last time. Added Lasix, ran very, very well off the claim. No surprise for Jose D'Angelo. pulling all the right strings. He's going to be really, really tough to down in here.
Yeah, you know, he was that set the pace second against 16 maidens, going 6.5 furlongs, 5.5 furlongs. That was first off the claim. They had to bump it up. They put it back where it belongs today. For me, in second, it was structural damage. It was expected, I believe, to show more after stalking the pace, flattening out when finishing fourth behind aforementioned Cajun Mandate. That was its career debut for Joe Orsino. Miguel Vasquez handling the rematch today. I think this horse might take that little bit of a jump forward.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, Joe's not a guy that's going to crank him up early, and now we get that tightener behind him after chasing and tiring on debut. I totally agree. Should move forward today.
What about the number 9, Glory and Victory?
Well, it's Antonio, right? And he's on the drop, and a pretty decent drop as well. And just maybe this is the level we call the, maybe this is Antonio's kind of race. This horse is not impossible on figures, even though the form's not that pretty.
The number 2, Tetragrammaton, is gelded son of War Dancer, debuting for Jonathan Thomas. Does okay, limited sampling with first-time starters. Maybe that's the way you look at this race this afternoon.
Yeah, this is a homebred, so tread a little lightly here. Check the tote board as well. I was willing to fade this horse. I know how good Jonathan is. He is 32% on debut. Tyler Gaffalione is here as well. Just tread lightly. The works here do not really whisper ready to me.
Race number 3 today is 5 furlongs on the turf. Allowance optional claimer for state-bred fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. This one, the optional claiming tag is $16,000. You have Baby Mo on your ticket.
Yeah, you've got him too, I see, and I just think she's the right one in here. We're perfectly drawn for this turf sprint. We've got the pressing outside speed for Cassie and Miguel Vasquez, the Pink Silks of Gary Barber as well, in very, very good form. I don't like blowing a big late lead last time, but I do think she's the one in here.
Well, I want to go back and show you a race. Now, this is going back to March 12th. It was race 1 at Gulfstream Park. And why? Because Simply the Best and Baby Mo were in this race, and Simply Mo is making that first start since finishing in a dead heat for the win against special weight competition here last March. So they're going to meet up. It's amazing. It's been since March. But how good was Simply the Best for Danny Gargan, who's really solid with this type of layup? 4 for 7, 57%. Arad Ortiz Jr. in the saddle, and there you see him going up and winning. So these two actually, competed against each other. Now coming back to, I found that interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and I would think Simply the Best goes favored in here, and maybe decisively so. She was 9-10 that day. It's Danny, it's Irad. She might be the controlling speed down inside. I'll tell you what, Ronnie, if they don't go with her early, they won't see her late. She is very, very fast.
And the number 4, Star War, is hoping for clear sailing today after checking sort of at the 16th pole when finishing 4th behind aforementioned Baby Mo, who we both have on top, for Bill Deaton and Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle today.
Tactical is going to sit the right trip. Wasn't far behind Baby Mo or Follow Me Mom, so she's in the mix as well. It's a competitive group here. It's a problematic race in the early pick 5 and 4.
Let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. 7 furlongs, maiden optional claim is fillies, 3-year-olds. And the one scratching here of the number 2 horse in here. And I went with the number 6, Miles of Smiles, stretching out to 7 furlongs after the 3rd place finish behind a really impressive winner of Vow in her debut. And then I'm going to go back and show you this last race. And this is where this horse turns for home and sort of had the worst of it as far as the positioning went. Turning for home is going to be at least 4 or 5 wide here. And I thought to run on and finish second here. And I know this one, homebred by David Russo, Joe Orsino. I just thought with that run in the stretch to be second was not a bad performance.
I agree, and she moved forward off the debut, and she added Lasix last time, and the winner came right back to win again. So I think Miles of Smiles now, 3rd start of her career. Typically, you're going to get the best in that spot there. And regardless of who you like in this field, it's a race there for the taking.
Yeah, it really is. And you went with the number 4 horse in here, that first-time starter, Stepstones. It's a daughter of a Practical Joke, debuting for Kelsey Danner.
Yeah, the Practical Jokes have been pretty precocious, and Kelsey's a very, very strong 19% on debut. There's several works here. Edwin Gonzalez lands here. Small sample, 4 for 11 riding for Kelsey, and I just took that fresh new face approach.
The number 7, Dove in Charge, is stretching out after running into a buzzsaw. That one called Hot Peppers last time out, who's reeled off now 3 consecutive victories. Safi Joseph Jr., Romero Mirage, handling a little bit of stretch out and distance today.
Yeah, and Hot Peppers beat Moofy on the square the other day, and she's all right too. So Dove in Charge comes out of nice races, This dropping class for her is going to be a big one, and she's tactical enough to sit the trip for Safi.
What about Hotter Than July, who have Heidi rated?
Yeah, I mean, I've got her in the mix. It's a spread race for me. I've got her in second. The maiden special weight drop, 2 turns to 1 turn, Tapeta to the main track. There's a lot going on here. We had Lasik. She was 5-2 on debut. Irad gets aboard for Mark Cass, C2.
Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Brian. And the 5th race today is where that Rainbow 6 starts with that $1.5 million gross guarantee pool. And race number 5, about 5 furlongs on the all-weather surface. Claimers, fillies and mares 4 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life. Scratch the 3, which was the big favorite in here. So let's see what my $43.20 ticket looks like. Went 3 deep in here. I just wasn't sold on anybody in that race. I know there's only 5 in the field. I used 3 of the 5. Race number 6, I got some coverage in there with Mr. Cellular, Treasure King, and Eternal Flame. In race number 7, just 2 deep in there with Disc Jockey and Flipping Fish for Ronnie Spatz. And then in race number 8 today, 6, Lilac Girl, and the 8, Secret Time, the German Red for Mr. Danny Gargan. We'll see if he can win 2 today, coming off the bench, almost the same layoff as that earlier race. And then my best bet of the day comes in race number 9, and that is Vladislav, who drops, cuts back, and I use Back At You 2 in there. And then last, my little bit of a long shot is advanced placement, half-brother to multiple stakes winners, Coffee Click and Admission Office. I like that horse today for Brian Lynch. So that one, I think, 6-1 on the morning line.
Where's your single?
Single, no single today. 43.20 for me. I tried the singles and it never. My singles win and every other race is no good. So I'm not. I like 43.20. That's what I can afford, and I think you get that really nice little bit of coverage. So this going back to this race, as I mentioned, Scratch the 3 was a big favorite. It's 5, about 5 on the Tapeta. I bumped up the number 4, working on being single. Of course, I had the 3 on top, 6 feet apart, and working on being single is wheeling back after setting the pace. Finishing second, was only beat a half length that day at this level and distance. And then I see Kathleen O'Connell and I see Jose Ortiz named to ride. So I thought that this horse had a big shot today, especially with the scratch of the 3.
I mean, who's better than Kathleen, right? Everything she's put out is live. They're in the right spot. She knows how to read the condition book. And I agree. I think this horse is a major player in here. We've got speed. Jose picking up the mount. He's going to put this one right in the game early, as he often does.
The one you have on top, Super Luna, goes to the Mike DiPaolo bond.
Yeah, and I had this horse on top all along, and Mike has quietly had a very, very nice meet with limited starters, picking his spots, doing the right thing. Now, it's tough to improve off Marty Drexler. We know that. But Mike knows this horse from up at Woodbine, and now he's going to claim her out of a 2-turn turf race. Bang, immediately back on the Tapeta. She's got all-weather Tapeta experience up at Woodbine. The last time she ran on it, won easily. Claimed her for 20, in for 20. Don't sleep on her today for a very, very sharp, underrated barn.
You know, I had I had her in the 3rd there. I just thought there would be more speed in this race with the scratch of the 3. This one I thought would sit that perfect stalking trip, ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. And as I mentioned, you would think there's going to be a hot pace, and maybe the inside speed will now be Money and Honey, who breaks from the rail on the Peter, set the pace, finished third against those 16 optional claimers going 5 up at Tampa. Arad Ortiz Jr., if anybody's going to figure out how this race goes, it's going to be him. Does he go to the lead? Is the horse fast enough to get the lead? We'll have to see.
Yeah, she is very fast. I mean, 44-4 at Tampa last time. Now, if she breaks a step slow, she's going to be behind 3 or 4 horses in here, so that's going to be very, very key. She has stalked in the past, but picking up what you were putting down, there is a lot of speed in this race.
Number 2, Sacred Sunday is who you have at second.
She's not the speed. She's going to be close. Mike Tomlinson is just knocking the door down. He just hasn't broken through yet. He's overdue for a win. Paco will get her involved throughout, too. I think she's a player off this layoff. It's sneaky. They had good races at Colonial this summer. It's probably better than what people think, that effort third.
Let's flip the page. Go to race number 6 today, about a mile into 16th on the all-weather. Maiden optional claimers, 3-year-olds. $50,000 if you're not a Florida med is the claiming tag. Scratch the number 6 Iron Man Richie, and this is where you have your late pick 5 ticket.
I do. It's down to $27 with some scratches. We'll talk about this race here. I've got singles in race 7. Number 6 Disc Jockey, I think will be a huge favorite for Safi and Calabrese off the second off the long layoff and the steep drop. A little spread in race 8. Amusing Antics, my long shot play of the day. My single, we're dueling here in race 9 because my best bet of the day is back at you in race 9. And then there's the spread in race 10. I have no opinion whatsoever. I want to be alive and I want to hope for a little bit of chaos. Top pick there, advanced placement down inside. There's 2 Brian Lynches in here. That's one of them.
Yeah, and that's my long shot play of the day, which I don't know if I'll get 6-1. Getting back to this race, we used the same 3 horses. Me, of course, in the Rainbow 6, you in this late pick 5. I kicked it off with Mr. Cellular, who's going to the Larry Ravelli barn after claim, stretching out just a bit today. After finishing, I thought, a well-meant second in his mile in the 70-yard debut on the all-weather surface here. You know how the barn is. You know, that was the previous connection. 48% with new claims. Adds blinkers. Paco Lopez for the assignment. But you know, Keisha made a great point that you guys were talking about the other day. His horses are running well, but I think he's still stuck on 4 victories.
Yeah, so here's the thing with this horse, and I agree, Ron. I'm fading these horses a little bit. I was picking his stablemate that scratched out of here. I think he probably made a pretty good claim here, though, because first and foremost, he's 15 for 32 off the claim. That's wild. Secondly, Safi is not a debut guy. I mean, if you're going to beat Safi, it's typically on debut. He's about 12%. He claims this one from Safi, so maybe the horse was a little short that day. Now Larry gets him. He adds blinkers. Paco's here from a nice outside attack post. I would think Mr. Cellular wakes way, way up today.
The number 5, Treasure King, is the son of Treasure Beach, debuting for Ton Pleasure. You know what I read, so I put this horse in second just for the connections, but I'm not really enamored with this first-time starter.
Let's take a look at this trainer stat. It's a wild one. And I didn't pick this horse. I scratched into this horse. I probably should have swapped my picks around. Todd, Hall of Famer, arguably the most prolific trainer in racing history. He's 4 for 58, maiden first-time starters in route races at Gulfstream Park the last 2 years. That's 7% with a 105 ROI. The barn's 12% on all weather. You've got to fade this horse a little bit to me today. I don't know. I think these are the type of spots where, you know this horse is going to be bet. You're going to take a lot of money, as he should, with Irad and Todd. But these are the type of horses, to me, you've got to fade a little bit. Again, I scratch into him. I will use him in my pick 5. I'd be very, very leery of taking a short number on this horse.
The number 3, Eternal Flame, is stretching out around 2 turns after shaking off trouble at the start. Had a little steady action there. Finished 4th against those 50 maiden. Optional claimers going 5 on the all-weather surface. Gilberto Zerpa, MCL Jaramillo handling the added real estate this afternoon.
Minister of Speed might be on a send mission here. On the stretch out, chased 44-4 last time when Lasix was added. Now he stretched back out, rode this horse on debut. I think this horse might catch a flyer, might forget to stop.
Let's go to race number 7, 1 mile claimers, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3 in life. We did have 2 early scratches of the 2 and the number 3, and you had a single in here, so take it away with Disc Jockey.
Yeah, I mean, this horse to me looks about 3 to 5. I don't know if because it's a huge, huge drop for Safi and Frank Calabrese. Irad says, sure, I'll ride. Now, we came back from almost a 2-year layoff last time. Safi ran him in a spot where he couldn't be claimed. He was an okay 5th. I mean, it was a solid race. The flow was very speedy that day. He wasn't going to win with that kind of trip off that kind of break. He runs a competitive number. Now we're in for the 20. We're second off a long layoff. I just think it's all systems go for this horse today, and I think he drowns this field.
I got some interest in the number 5 Flipping Fish, who proved he can compete with these when he stepped up and finished a solid second at this same level and distance for Ronnie Spatz, Junior Alvarado, returning on the gelded son of Uncaptured. All these fish horses for Ronnie Spatz have run well all throughout the meet. And I think this horse has a pretty good chance in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's going to get a piece of it. It looks like the 7 was a late scratch. I didn't have it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's was a late scratch, yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank
yes.
you, Brad. So now, disc jockey, if he wasn't going to be a huge favorite before, now we got 3 horses out of here. He's going to be a very, very decisive favorite. I agree, Flipping Fish, if disc jockey just isn't the same, he's got a threat. He's got a chance in here.
Yeah, I did have the 7 red flag alert, so I'll go back and look, and that was Cheryl Weinbar's horse, so we'll go back and revisit that race and change around some tickets if we need to be in race number 7. So, and don't forget, Pete will be up right after us to update you on all those scratches and jockey changes you need this afternoon. Going back to the turf this afternoon, about 7.5 furlongs, allowance optional claimer. Fillies and Mares, 4-year-olds and up, optional claiming price is $25,000. Scratch the 112 and all the also eligible entries. And you went with your long shot here, right? I believe the number 3 horse?
I mean, I struggled coming up with a long shot today, but Amusing Antics is as good as any of them. She's 6 on the morning line, I believe. She's only run on turf once, but I thought it was a pretty darn good effort at Keeneland in October, and Bill Mott brought her back in an off-the-turf race, so that goes to Artepita here in January. Got the perfect tightener out of the way, and now it's the old all systems go angle, second off, and he immediately wants to run her on turf. This is 2 turns now. This is not a turf sprint, so don't forget that. We're going 2 turns at 7.5 here. She's certainly bred for it, and I love this inside post because there are some contenders to the outside. That post outside, Ronnie, is very, very problematic.
Well, the number 6 horse in here, Lilac Girl, is stepping up, stretching out, and returning to the turf after showing promise, sprinting on both turf and all-weather surfaces before going to the sidelines in December. You know how good Jonathan Thomas is with this type of layup. He's almost 30%. Tyler Gaffney topped this daughter of Quality Road, who's bred to love this distance and beyond. But I want to point out a race back in October where the number 4 horse, who I used number ticket, who's 20-1 on the morning line, who defeated Lilac Girl. I'm going to show you that performance. I thought this horse ran pretty well. There you see Lilac Girl is the number 11, and the number 7 that day is Wow. And this one is going to close really stoutly in this race to come up and beat this horse. So you're going to see this now. We're going back, a little bit of a rewind, but you're going to see the 11 right up there, prominently placed, and here comes the 7 flying in the stretch to get up and win it from Mark Hennick. Edwin Gonzalez handling the stretch out to 7.5 furlongs. Look at this, and you're getting one horse is the favorite, the other one is 20-1. I know it's a while back. I'm not leaving this horse off my ticket.
Wow. That was a big run. I mean, it really was. And she's in the mix here. She's going to get a lot of speed to run into. She's bred for this trip, stretching out by Pioneer of the Nile out of a Proud Citizen mare. So, there's no reason. She's another one. Got the tightener out of the way for Mark last time. Don't sleep on her. And as good as Lilac Girl is and maybe could be, she's facing winners for the first time today.
Yeah, Wow, just showed you can beat her. So just something to go back and look at. The number 8 horse, Secret Time, the German bred, is making her 5-year-old debut. The first starts and showing promise against allowance competition on the Saratoga turf. We mentioned Danny Gargan. He does well with this layoff of 180 days plus, and he's got the mare working consistently up on the Palm Meadows turf course, which I like.
Yeah, I agree. That race 2 back at Saratoga is better than anything anyone's done here. Obviously, something went amiss last time. She's back, as Ronnie alluded to, working well. He reaches for IRAD, too, so there's got to be some intent today.
The 9th race this afternoon, the 7-furlong sprint. This is starter optional claim, a 3-year-old starting for 16 or less, or the optional tag of $20,000. You went with the number 6 horse in here, who's probably on paper the one to beat. That's back at you.
Yeah, we got good TV here. Dueling best bets of the day, right? And I thought she was pretty good last time. She's a 3-time winner, and I love that Kelsey Danner claims her for 12.5. Kelsey, by the way, 4 for 13 off the claim, so she's going to claim her for 12.5. Doesn't want to run him back for attack, so can't lose this horse today. That's a confident move. We're well drawn outside. Going to get first run on your pick. I think this horse is in the right spot. I'm interested what you're coming up with Vladislav.
Well, this is one of my favorite angles in racing. If you follow my analysis, drops, cuts back to 7 furlongs on the main tracks. After setting the pace and finishing third against 75 optional claimers, going a mile into 16th on the Tampa turf. I like this horse, and I never expect these horses. Everybody thinks they're the speed. They're not the speed in this race. Right. This horse is going to track. Juan C. Avila has Miguel Vasquez handling the combo surface switch and turn back. I think this one sits the trip. I've had a lot of success with horses showing speed going long on the grass, cutting back to 7, and they don't necessarily have to be on the lead.
No, this horse won't be on the lead at all, and it's going to have a lot of foundation. Yeah, I agree, and there is some speed in here, so you're going to have, like I said, plenty of foundation. 7 furlongs is tricky, too, for some of these speed horses.
Yeah, I just like that angle there, and I knew I'd get a little bit of a price there. I think 5-1 or something like that on the morning line, if I believe. 6-1 on the morning line. And then the number 3, Looney Zima for me, who's changing barns, going to Peter Walder's barn, and makes his first start since finishing. It was sort of a well-beaten 5th against 20 claimers, going 6 furlongs. That was back on Christmas Eve. The barn is solid with new claims. Moves the blinkers, and here's the interesting part. Arad jumps aboard.
Yeah, and this horse is coming out of really, really good races. I mean, you know, Jack Sisterson ran him in the Street Sense. That 1X, a strike hard. AP Secret, we'll see next Saturday in the Fountain of Youth. Yes, I'm a Beast is streaking as well. Peter, very, very crafty, 18%.
And what about the old Dr. Ron?
I was going to say, no love for Dr. Ron. You've played many roles in your career. Is this one of them?
I had played a doctor once, but that's a story for another day. In the movie, not in real life.
Story for off the air, too. Dr. Ron ran very, very fast on debut.
Yeah.
That puts him in the mix against this kind of group. Can Carlos Perez improve off David Fox? Easier said than done. But if he can, this horse is a player.
Let's wrap it up today with race number 10. 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf, maiden special weight, 0 rail posting this afternoon. And I just thought that I was going to take a little bit of a shot. And it looks like you found advanced placement 2 is a half-brother to multiple stakes winners, Coffee Click and admission offers, turns back to 9, returned from that layoff of about 7 months to finish that stamina tweaking third, going a mile and 3/8 for Brian Lynch. Tyler Gaffalione handling that turn back.
I guess after about 2.5 months, I finally got the memo. You win the nightcap every day, so just start picking your same horse. We were on the same long shot yesterday. We'll try to do it here. I thought this horse ran well last time at a very, very tricky trip off the long layoff. Now with that tightener, we're well drawn inside in a wide open race. He's got to move forward to me.
You know, the number 4 horse you have in third, I have in second. That's QF75, listed as a gelding. Is the son of Vancouver, making his first start since finishing third. We're going to show this race. He was going 10 furlongs back at Belmont. Now, it was all the way back in June. But you're going to see this horse turning for home right there. And what I liked about this horse was game throughout. They hit the wire with all the horses together, and you're going to have to find him being third in between all these horses. I just thought it was a good performance. And, of course, it's Christophe Clement. So you're going to see this horse that day. The number 3, and I just thought it was one of those ding-dong races right down to the wire, and I thought this horse ran a good race, and I respect the connections with the turn back, and that was sort of a race I just wanted to show that this horse was game through the stretch.
I agree, and the interesting thing is that's a West Point horse, and Irad's riding the 4, and Jose's next door on the 5. They're the only 2 with speed in here, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I see you faded the 1 a little bit. I didn't know what to make of Aussie Prize, a Godolphin homebred, Godolphin runner that was a good second on debut at Tampa. I didn't really like the race necessarily, and the fact that he debuted at Tampa was, you know, a little disconcerting to me. He's going to take a lot of money in here, though, I think.
Definitely, because of the connections.
Yeah.
So, of course, Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado was go-to rider. The other horse I had some interest was the 6, Red Hot and Blue, returns from the layoff for Shug McGay after showing promise in a series of maiden special weight turf races at Delaware, the Meadowlands, Belmont. She faces the boys this afternoon with Paco Lopez in the saddle, and I think she is 4th choice, and you had her in 4th choice. Just one of those interesting horses for me that Shug, you know, maybe just needed the race for her, but to put her against the boys, maybe think she has a shot.
Yeah, that Shug guy, he's not a bad trainer, you know.
No,
so
definitely.
In him we trust. He's in the Hall of Fame for a million different reasons, and spotting his horses is one of them. Listen, this is a race. This is a finale where whoever wants to pick the day to run their best race, they're going to win because they're all the same on paper.
Yeah, that's why you try and get a little bit of price in there, and that wraps up the 10 races for us. But we're not done yet. Of course, we have our lightning round to go through, and you put this thing together for us, so you can kick it off here. And where are we starting?
Well, we're starting with Irad. 3,000 career wins. Congratulations to him. And there's going to be many, many, many more. And here he is on the outside with tilted towers swooping. And this is a great. This is cool that Irad got his 3,000th win on this because Irad is so adept at getting position from bad post positions, and going this trip on the turf from the outside is just not good. And there's Billy and Victor celebrating with him. So congratulations to his. But putting horses into races from disadvantageous post positions, Irad does it better than anyone, and you saw it there.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to note, you'll see a lot of people say, well, he's got 3,000. If you look at Equibase, it says 3,092 victories, but these are North American victories. So he's had some victories in Puerto Rico and around the country. So 3,000 here for Irad Ortiz Jr. Congratulations.
He's got a lot of wins.
Yeah, a lot of wins.
A lot of wins. The All-Star sequence is back for the Stronach 5 today, and I know you're involved in that. You guys hit it out of the park earlier, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. We got 2 from Gulfstream Park here, and that's race number 8 and race number 10. We're closing it out with the final one. Of course, we got lots of help from all our guys around the country, and it should be a fun ticket. I forgot what it paid last week, but it was certainly thousands and thousands of dollars.
As our buddy upstairs, Pete says, Overlay City, dollar base wager and a very, very low takeout. So get involved in that. We'll talk about it later in the card as well. Beat the Expert, that's you this weekend as well.
Yeah, Beat the Expert. I'll be in the hot seat, of course, try and pick more winners than me. You got the chance to win one of those cool polo shirts that says Beat the Expert. They're new ones this year. They say Beat the Expert right in the front. So I'm hoping you beat me and you come out wearing that shirt and give it to me a little bit. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, absolutely free. Just go to GulfstreamPark.com and click on the contest icon, and you'll be in there. Just put your picks in. 12 races on Saturday.
You don't make it easy for them to beat the Expert. You've been putting up big numbers. We are 8 days away from a huge weekend, both here at Gulfstream Park and at Santa Anita.
Yeah, we were talking just before we came on the air. They're going to have 2 Pick 5 races comprised with both those races, and if 12% takeout, it's going to be fun. So Santa Anita, Gulfstream, Santa Anita throughout the afternoon. And
last but certainly not least, we've got $1.5 million in the Rainbow 6 gross guarantee pool today. If it carries tomorrow, there you see it right there. Huge.
Yeah, you've been saying it's going to be $6 million easy if it doesn't get hit today.
Yeah, my adult beverage bet is well over $6 million, but that's what I think they're going to send it in tomorrow. It's a great day. It's a great sequence. It's not easy. Deep and competitive races. Of course, the last 6 races on the card. We'll be here tomorrow to talk about it all day, but looking forward to that, and that wraps it.
Yeah, that wraps it up. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Pete Ayala now for all the scratches and jockey changes, and we'll be joined all afternoon by the one, the only, Acacia Courtney.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of the championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Johnny V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.
I'd always had a really deep love of animals. When I started started riding, I felt that instant connection. It was this horse, Siren, that she was a thoroughbred, she'd been on the racetrack. It really shaped me growing up because I had to learn how to be confident, but I also had to be compassionate. And she really was that first love I had of a horse.